Okay, so let's get started. You guys are WMP 17, right? Okay. So in the last few classes, what all have we covered? Basically, we have covered our three major steps from our entire syllabus. As I said to you again and again, that this entire course we'll be studying in four important parts. First part was your basic concepts and overview. Basic concepts and overview. There we saw some example of Tata Motor income statement and balance sheet, and saw some basic concepts that smoothly led us to the process of preparation of financial statement. Process of preparation of financial statement. There we saw how to prepare income statement and balance sheet. Once we did this, we moved to a topic called managerial discretion. In managerial discretion, so far we have seen two subtopics. We have seen revenue recognition and we have seen long-term assets. We have seen that just using these two examples, some of the situations wherein simply because the way management takes decision, they have a little bit of influence over at least the timing of the profits or timings of the value of the assets. So these two topics were there to give you a flavor of how managerial discretion plays a role when you see a financial statement. That's what I meant when in the beginning itself of the session, I gave you two caveats. One of the caveat was that here the numbers are not sacrosanct, that there is a little bit of influence that you can exert over the numbers and still be right, that you are not lying. You are still giving a correct picture, but you have one or more, or rather two or more options to pick from. And depending upon which option you picked, your numbers will look slightly different. Okay. Now, there are three topics that are left. One topic is the major topic, that is section number D, which is financial statement analysis, that we have reserved for tomorrow. So two sessions, full-fledged tomorrow sessions we will need tomorrow for this, maybe slightly even more. So ideally, I would want to start this one today itself. At least I would want to give the introduction of the topic. Then there are three topics, or rather there are two more topics that typically in a full-fledged in-person classroom we are able to take, but online is always a challenging stuff because things goes much slower in an online process. So one was preparation of a cash flow statement, and that ideally forms a part of this step number 2, that is process of preparation of financial statement. So as I said in the beginning of the course, that there are three important statements: income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. We have already seen how to prepare income statement and balance sheet. Given sufficient amount of time, we could have also done cash flow statement preparation, but I don't think that we have any time to look at the preparation. So what we will do is that we will just try to understand that how to analyze cash flow statement once you have the numbers. I will just as an argument or verbally, I will give you the flow of the or the reasoning of how to prepare cash flow statement, but we will not go into the detail. As to the expectation will not be that you can prepare a cash flow statement on your own. That is not to say that the material is not important or it will not be made available to you. I will make sure that this material is also available to you, the way a little bit of extra topics that we have covered from revenue recognition. So detailed videos that I have recorded will be available for you, but in classroom we will not have time. So that's how we are going to address it, but that will be optional for you. So the preparation of cash flow statement is optional for you. Then one small subtopic is accounting for inventory. Now, this is also a very interesting small topic that could have been taken up in the entire class, but generally in online mode, I am facing it where I am finding it very difficult to fit these two topics, especially the inventory. Sometimes, depending upon if since the beginning itself, if I have pushed the pedal a little bit harder, then I am able to take cash flow statement. But taking three topics of managerial discretion becomes a little bit challenging. So again, for inventory also, I'll try to make the videos available to you. You can go ahead and learn some of the managerial discretions that are involved when somebody records about the inventory. But as preparation of cash flow statement, this is also going to be treated optional for the exam purposes. Okay, but for a learning purpose, needless to say, that is why I'm making this effort to make the videos available. So for learning purposes, make sure that you go ahead and watch them. What are we going to do then in today's session and tomorrow's session? So we have 3 sessions left, 2 sessions tomorrow and 1 today. We are going to learn, once you have a cash flow statement, how to analyze them, and then full-fledged financial statement analysis, that how to analyze the financial statement. These are the 2 topics that we are going to do. But before that, let me remind you that there is one portion, once again I am reiterating, one portion which are available to you via videos, but still they are expected from the exam perspective and quiz perspective also. That is some of the smaller topics of revenue recognition. That is the 2 topics of the percentage of completion method versus completed contract method. And then you have 2 more methods, that is called delivery method versus installment method. Okay, installment method. Okay, so these 2 methods are expected out of you, that you should be able to do them for the exam purposes. Rest all, whatever is available only via videos, that you just need to learn for the understanding purpose. Yeah, Hemant, go ahead.
Sir, I think you already covered this, but I just wanted to request you if you can cover again. Sir, the capitalization concept, wherein the cost spreads over 2 accounting periods.
That is depreciation. What's your question?
Sir, how do I treat the first year cost differently from the second year cost? Do I take n+1 in that case, or for both the years is it n? I'm talking about the number of years. N is the number of years.
You need to repeat it. Which topic are you talking about? Where is the cost getting capitalized, and what are you talking about?
Sir, so for example, I build something and it takes, say 2 years, right? Two different accounting years, right?
Okay.
So in the first year, I spend say 50% cost or whatever, and then in the second year. So, sir, how do I treat these 2 years differently from my financial statement perspective? Like, if I want to, capitalize it for 5 years, so the first year cost would be for 6 years, or would it be for 5 years?
Okay, so are you trying to say that, let us say you are constructing a building for your own purpose, let us say for your own business, the building construction took 2 years to get constructed, and then it will have a life of 5 years. Okay.
Yes, sir. I mean, my question was more from a services project, say a transformation project, right? The kind of projects which I face usually go on for like 1 or 2 years. So I'm just trying to understand, how do we capitalize it?
It depends, that you just keep on adding the cost. You keep on adding to the cost, that this is work in progress, this is work in progress. In fact, if you notice Tata Motors balance sheet, let me show you. Everybody understood the question he is asking? He is asking that if construction of any asset takes longer than 1 accounting period, what to do for those period till when it is not finished? तब तक क्या करते हैं उसका? That's your question, right? Let me make sure that I have understood it correct.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Okay. So क्या हो रहा है भाई? So till the time that it is not completed, it just sits in your balance sheet as work in progress. For example, let us say kahan iska assets, here capital work in progress. You see this item 2 assets, then non-current asset, and within that A.3 fixed asset, and then the third one is capital work in progress. Do you see this? Why does the PDF doesn't have any option to annotate? I don't see where I can show the lines.
Go on the right side, it's commenting tool, yellow one, sticky note.
Sticky note?
Sticky note above combined. Go, इससे 3 ऊपर.
ये क्या redact क्या है?
Redact is different. इससे 3 ऊपर.
Sticky note कहाँ है sticky note?
ये इस पे क्लिक करो.
भाई you can see it, I can't see. I can.
जो कमेंट था ना, जो कमेंट, जो स्टिकी नोट बना हुआ है येलो वाला,
येलो ये वाला?
ऐसा सा उसके ऊपर,
हाँ अच्छा ये
ऊपर से फोर्थ
1 2 ए रुक जा भाई, कहाँ गया? समथिंग हैपेंड 1 2 3 and 4 ये कमेंट। हाँ
क्लिक करेंगे, क्लिक नहीं हुआ सर।
टेक्नोलॉजिकली पैदल फील कर रहा हूँ मैं अपने आप को एकदम।
ये रहा ऊपर सेकंड हाईलाइट, ऊपर टूल्स ऑप्शन आ गया, ऊपर टूल बार आ गया ना ऊपर,
हाँ हाँ
उसमें सेकंड वाला हाईलाइट है,
पेंसिल।
लेफ्ट से सेकंड ऊपर, जहाँ ऊपर टूल बार है एक।
अच्छा ओके ये
हाँ
इतना, अच्छा ये लग रहा है सही है।
ये
हाँ ओके गुड थैंक यू। पता नहीं कहाँ से ढूंढ के आया, लेकिन इसको मैं कैसे फ्रीज करूँ? हाउ डू आई फ्रीज दिस?
सर इसको आप अपने क्विक टूल्स में डाल सकते हो, बाद में बता दूंगा आपको।
चलो ठीक है, थैंक्स। आई थिंक फॉर नाउ इट इज गुड। सो व्हाट आई वाज, ये भाई, सो इट विल नॉट, द स्क्रोलिंग इज नॉट गोना वर्क।
And you're commenting then not.
How many are you working in Adobe?
Sir, मैं
Yes.
क्या provide
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm about to say, right?
यूजर बिहेवियर में पता चल रहा है।
कुछ मतलब there is no connect कि what user wants, what are they trying to give. अभी मैं scroll किया, बीच में ही लकीरें खिंच गई हैं, but anyway चलो at least this is working. So this is what I was talking about, Hemant, to your question, the response, that till then you just keep adding them in your asset and then keep showing them as capital work in progress. If it is of a long period of time, maybe you can show it in fixed assets. If it is for short period of time, you can, इसमें भी work in progress है क्या? नहीं, it doesn't make sense to show work in progress for short term. Yeah. So you see this capital work in progress, that's what it means, that you are building something for long term, but it is not yet finished. But just because it is not yet finished doesn't mean that you haven't spent so far. So what do you do for that money? That's what you do, you show it as a work in progress asset. ठीक है?
Right.
Okay. Any more questions? बस यही क्वेश्चन था आज का। Okay, good. No question in percentage of completion method and delivery versus installment method. All good. सब clear है?
सर अभी देखा नहीं।
That I understand. That's why I'm smiling. Anyway, let's get going. No problem. आपने नहीं देखा है तो that's your problem. I will assume कि सब समझ में आ गया है बिल्कुल. So no question. There are two options that I can assume कि कुछ समझ नहीं आया versus सब समझ में आ गया. You understand that which assumption I'm going to assume for my own peace of mind. Anyway, so let's move ahead and start up with a new topic, that is cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. Okay. Now, cash flow statement is a very interesting one. It's almost like this is one of the most important area where it is very difficult to deceive people. In income statement, it is relatively easier. In balance sheet also, it is relatively easier. But cash flow statement वो तो होता है ना कि हर जगह से निकल गए लेकिन इधर जाके फंसी जाते हैं. I am trying to demonstrate how. Okay. Before that, let us try to understand what the cash flow statement is all about. What is cash flow statement? Can anybody just tell me, just out of plain intuition, that what should contain cash flow statement? Cash flow statement क्या डालें उसमें?
कैश स्पेंट एंड कैश रिसीव्ड।
कैश हमने डाला, लाइक बिजनेस में डाला ओनर ने, एंड कितना निकाला, विड्रॉ भी कितना किया, वो सब भी।
Okay, so owners infusion and withdrawal. Okay, withdrawal. ठीक है? Yeah, Pulkit, go ahead.
So cash received as revenue and spent on the inventories.
Cash received as revenue and spent on
Inventory and other expenses like wages.
inventory and other expenses. Okay, fine. Who else? Manish, go ahead.
It's a record of complete cash flow, right? Where it is coming from, where it is going. Right?
Okay, Basically, Manish is talking about, so these two instances were of specific usage of caches. What Manish is saying that go general, wherever the cache is coming from and wherever it is going. Okay, fine. Shweta, go ahead.
Sir, operational cost also will include like in the terms of the company, whatever the
Operational cost. Okay, operational cost. Fine. So you already have these information. Owners infusion is already available to you somewhere. Kahin to available hoga na, right? Similarly, withdrawals will also be available to you somewhere. Cash received as revenue will also be available. Spent on expenses will also be available. Operational be available hai kahin kahin. Why do you need a separate statement? Yeah, Rishabh, go ahead.
Sir, opportunity cost of not deploying this cash on some.
No, unfortunately, in accounting, nowhere opportunity cost features. Okay. Opportunity cost is like what could have happened. So that we don't even discuss in accounting. As I told you that accounting, the purpose is to report what happened. So if your purpose is to report what happened, there is no point in going with those kind of details where what could have happened. You understand the difference? Opportunity cost is all about what could have happened.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Sir, it's
Yeah,
to measure the liquidity of the company to meet the immediate payments or any obligations coming in.
Okay, fair enough. For meeting obligations. Yeah. Pratik, go ahead.
So basically, sir, end-to-end cash flow, matlab, in terms of revenue and basically
end-to-end means wherever it came from, wherever it went, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Shalabh, go ahead.
Sir, to have a statement of the cash flow in the balance sheet so that any kind of investors or creditors who are there, they also get to know what is the financial standing of a firm at a particular time.
I didn't get your point. What are you trying to say, Shalabh?
Like cash at any point of time, wherein the creditors and the lenders, they also get to see what exactly is the flow of the.
That will always be available in the balance sheet. When you have balance sheet and when you have cash of this much, the amount of cash is always available. Why do you need a separate statement is what I'm asking. Okay, Neeraj, go ahead.
Sir, it is to measure the inflow and the outflow, looking at what kind of capital risk the company is taking and etc. Sir.
Capital risk, okay, fine. जितने jargon सीखे हैं management में सब चिपका देते हैं. Okay, good. Capital risk, okay. Pulkit, go ahead.
So basically, it will give the quantum of the overall cash that a company is dealing, like total कितना है. Otherwise, we are just
balance sheet में अगर balance sheet आपने बनाया तो उधर तो cash पड़ा हुआ है कि कितना quantum of total cash है. अगर आपको और डिटेल पता करना है तो कैश का टी अकाउंट देख लो. कैश का टी अकाउंट कैसा रहता है? कैश का टी अकाउंट हैज ऑल द प्लसेस एंड माइनसेस. ओपनिंग बैलेंस इधर रहता है, देन ऑल द प्लसेस आर हियर, देन ऑल द माइनसेस आर हियर.
सर बट उसमें हमारे को अलग अलग उसका नहीं, लाइक करंटली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज यहाँ पे कैश में सिर्फ प्लस और माइनस है. वी आर नॉट डेडिकेटिंग इट टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस लाइक ऑपरेशनल एक्सपेंसेस, एक्सपेंशन एक्सपेंसेस. सो इन कैश फ्लो वी हैव दोस हेडिंग्स दैट वी डेडिकेट ऑल दीस थिंग्स.
Okay, I'll come to this. Yes, Shailesh.
The sum total of cash inflow and outflow. Hello.
Yeah, Raghu, you spoke out of your turn. Yeah, Shailesh, go ahead, please. Then
actually, sir, sometimes basically cash is required for day-to-day running of the business, and balance sheet is like we know it is at one point in time it is telling what is the cash available. What is the basically flow? How to maintain the.
Shailesh is trying to say that balance sheet is available only at one point of time, but we want to know about cash more frequently. So that is why maybe cash flow statement is being prepared more frequently.
Yeah, basically to know the day-to-day running of the business. So we need cash. So we should know.
So let me tell you, unfortunately, Shailesh, this is not what happens. Cash flow statement is also available to you with the same frequency as balance sheet is available. तो अगर आप balance sheet quarterly दे रहे हो तो cash flow statement भी quarterly देंगे. The only difference is that this one is a stock concept and this one is a flow concept. So this one will be for the quarter and balance sheet will be at the end of the quarter. Okay, fine, fair enough. I'll take one more opinion and then I'll tell you more about this. Yeah, Abhishek, go ahead.
कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट रिक्वायर्ड है सो दैट यू नो जो हमारे पैसे देने वाले हैं, मतलब जिनसे हमने लिए हैं या जिनको हमें पैसा देना है, वो हम और कहीं रिफ्लेक्ट, कैश वाले में तो नहीं हो रहा है, वो एक्सपेंसेस में। सो डू वी हैव एनफ कैश कि वो पे कर सके?
Okay. I'll just go ahead. Okay, last comment. Shailesh, go ahead. Okay, Shailesh has already spoken. Okay, fine. I'll just tell you. Basically, if you remember that, then what all details we already have. Oh, I stopped Raghu in between. Raghu, please go ahead. Put your point, and then we'll go ahead.
Well, it's the sum total of all inflows, cash inflows and outflows. There are certain expenses which will also be converted into cash, like the depreciation expense. It is not an outflow. So all these put together will make up this cash flow statement, so that we know what is the cash in hand for meeting the operating expense.
Okay, fine. Let me tell you what happens, what we have already done. We already have a preparation of financial statement wherein we prepared journal entries. From that, we prepared T accounts. From that, we prepare our trial balance. And from trial balance, we already have two statements called income statement and balance sheet. Now, if people were not, let us assume that some of the reasons that you all are telling me about is that in the balance sheet, there is one line called cash. And that cash will have certain value. Let us say this one value alone is not sufficient for your insight about the business. That might be the reason why you want to know more about cash, right? That cash is a very strong asset. It is the only asset which is ready for you to meet any other obligations. You cannot give half of your building. Suddenly, let us say the lenders came to collect the interest payment. You can't say that I don't have the asset called cash, but here I have this asset called the building. Take 20 bricks away. No, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's not going to cut it. So that is why cash is a special asset, and people are very interested in knowing what happened to cash. My point is that if you wanted to know where the cash came from, where all it went, you already would have in your T accounts, you will have a T account called cash T account. There you will have item wise detail that this much came from sales, this much came from, let us say, account receivable, this much went for accounts payable, this much went for machinery, this much went for all the different reasons. So you have reasons and you have amounts. You already have these kind of details available. But one thing that you don't have, as one of you mentioned, is that understanding this kind of a statement is somewhat tricky. That let us say some 100 lines are there with different reasons where cash went and where cash came from. It is a very good information, but it is not a concise or precise or summarized information. So we summarize this. What we do, we reproduce basically the similar kind of information, but we reproduce them in 3 categories. We say that now we will be talking about where cash came from and where it went, but we will be talking about these in under 3 headings. We'll be talking about cash came in or went out. Was it because of some of the regular activities of the business? They are called cash flow from operating activities. That is your sales, your purchases of inventory, your payment of salary, your payment of rent, your receipt of interest payment. Oh, interest is tricky one. Ignore interest one. Your insurance premium, your maintenance, all those things. So you are talking about operational activity. Then you can talk also about whether you invested in any long-term asset of the business. So those are called cash flow from investing activities. Now here notice the word investing has our day-to-day meaning. This one doesn't have the finance meaning. What do you mean by investing in a business? It means that let us say you are talking about Reliance. So Reliance, let us say, opened a new, purchased a new spectrum for GeoPortals. So that is Reliance purchasing a new asset. So that is investing by Reliance. Similarly, let us say ONGC purchased a new block in the ocean. I don't know whether they can do it or not. Just I'm imagining some random stuff. let us say a block in the ocean where they can go and do oil exploration, and if they are able to find certain oil reserves, they get the right to excavate the oil. So that is also an investing activity. Somebody opens a new shop and purchases a new counter for billing. That is also an investing activity. So whenever you purchase or sell any long-term asset, those are called cash flow from investing activities. And finally, the only thing that is left is cash flow from financing activities. What are those? These are, once again, here the word financing has our day-to-day meaning. So cash flow statement headings is one place where the words have our day-to-day dictionary meaning and not the specific or proper finance meaning or accounting meaning. So here also the word financing activity has its day-to-day meaning, the word financing, that where have you gotten the money from and where are you paying it back. For example, you may have taken equity, you may have raised certain debt, you may be paying certain interest, you may be paying certain dividend. All these are financing activity.
Sir, equity will come in your investment now. You're investing, you're buying any equity. Or
when you are buying equity, then it is an investing activity. But when you are raising equity, what do?
Okay,
raising equity means you are raising more fund. आप share issue कर रहे हैं, आप पैसे ले रहे हैं लोगों से. So that is how you are financing your business. When you are buying equity, let us say you are talking about ITC. When ITC is buying 20 shares of Reliance, that is an investing activity. But when ITC is issuing new shares to get more fund, that is a financing activity. ठीक है, ये समझ में आ गया? Makes sense? Here the words have dictionary meaning. Just to concretize this differentiation across these three headings, I will also give you a reference to income statement and balance sheet. Let us say I have my income statement here, income statement, and I have my balance sheet here. So in balance sheet, I have, let us say, long-term assets and short-term assets. And in liability side, I have long-term liabilities and short-term liabilities. Within long-term liabilities, let us say I have capital and I have debt. This can be a very simplistic representation of a balance sheet. I think I have already told you what is the difference between short-term and long-term. Yes, now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. कोई बात नहीं, इसमें दुखी मत हो, अच्छी बात है, याद है तो अच्छी बात है, नहीं याद है तो भी कोई बात नहीं. Here, long term and short term, the difference is of 1 year. Now, whenever cash comes into a business and moves out of a business, and that results into movement of these, it results into cash flow from investing activity. Take an example. What are the long-term assets? Your plant is long-term asset, machinery, furniture, fixture, land, building, patent rights, broadcasting rights. These are your long-term assets. अगर आपने नया long-term asset खरीद लिया है, that means that is a cash flow from investing activity. Now, when you are buying a long-term asset, that is a cash flow from investing activity. I am asking a question. Will it be an inflow of cash flow from investing activity or outflow?
Sir, outflow.
Outflow. Good. Whenever you purchase machinery, remember, कई लोग अच्छे और बुरे के उसमें फंस जाते हैं. Whenever you purchase machinery, whether it is good for a business or bad for the business, you have to pay money. That is why this one will come with a negative sign whenever you purchase machinery, purchase assets. When you sell an asset, then what happens? Then also it is cash flow from investing activity, but that will come with a positive sign. Why? Because cash is coming into the business. Let us say you already had an existing warehouse, but now you think that that warehouse is not needed any longer. You sold it off. What happens to cash? Cash comes into the business, right?
Yes.
So that will be with a positive sign in the cash flow from investing activity. Okay, so that is your cash flow from investing activity. Now let me explain cash flow from financing activity. Cash flow from financing activities are all those which affect these two. So if you are receiving or paying money and as a result it is affecting your capital or long-term debt or any long-term liability, then that is treated as cash flow from financing activity. For example, you raise new equity. When you are raising new equity, what happens? You get cash. अब आपने नए शेयर इश्यू कर दिए मार्केट में, then for issuing those certificates you would have collected cash. So raising new equity comes under CFF, that is cash flow from financing activity, and because you have gotten cash, it will come with a positive sign. Similarly, let us say you have repaid your debt, long-term loan. What must have happened? You must have paid back cash, so cash would have gone away. So that will also be a financing activity, but it will come with a negative sign. You have taken new loan. Where will it come? It will come under cash flow from financing activity, but with a positive sign. Okay. Now, cash flow from operating activity is not that strict one. I will tell you that whatever is left is cash flow from operating activity mostly. Okay. Mostly they are cash flow from operating activity. Why did I use the word for operating activity word mostly? Because there are certain exceptions that I will mention to you right away. Yeah, before that I'll take question. Yeah, go ahead, Donit.
सर कैश फ्लो फाइनेंशियल एक्टिविटी सर इसको कैश से रिलेट कर रहा है, एलटीएल से कैसे रिलेट किया सर वो नहीं समझ रहा है.
Okay. When you prepare balance sheet, you will have an asset side and you will have a liability side. Now in the asset side, I am just assuming that there are certain assets which will live for more than 1 year. They are called long-term assets. Those assets which will live for short period are called short-term assets. Now I'm applying the same logic in the liabilities side, that those liabilities which are there for less than 1 year are called short-term liability. Those liabilities or obligations which are there for more than 1 year are called long-term liabilities. Now if you remember the balance sheet items, what all items are there for more than 1 year? Typically you have these two. Most likely you will have these two. You will have capital and you will have loan or debt. Capital is a liability for the business, right? Yes or no? Or owner's equity, if you want to add retained in earnings also into this. Capital and retained earnings are long-term liability, right?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, debt, long-term debt can be long-term liability, right? So what I'm saying here is that one of the reference for the determination of whether something is cash flow from investing or financing activity is, if you remember, that what sort of item it will affect in the balance sheet. If it is going to affect long-term asset, then highly likely it will be cash flow from investing activity. If it is going to affect any long-term liability, it is a cash flow from financing activity. That's what I was trying to say. Now all the rest of the items are going to be cash flow from operating activity. I think it is better to say that all rest of the items. There are 1 or 2 exceptions. Okay, the exception number 1. So in short-term liabilities, what sort of items you can have? Can somebody give some examples? What can you have in short-term liability?
Sir, wages payable, okay.
Debtors
payable, okay. That is called accounts payable. Okay, accounts payable, fine.
Bank overdraft,
tax liability payable.
Bank overdraft, tax
Utility
liability, और क्या? Electricity outstanding, okay. Electricity outstanding.
Taxes payable.
Tax payable is also already there. Anything else? Okay. Interest outstanding, yes, you can have interest outstanding.
Sir,
Good.
rent outstanding.
All sort of expense outstanding. So let me write just expense outstanding. Fine. So आप अलग-अलग expense सोच के उसका outstanding बोलते जाओगे. You can also have short-term loan. Short-term loan भी तो हो सकता है.
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now across all the liabilities, rest all are operating activity except for this guy, short-term loan. If you are saying loan, listen to me very carefully. If you are saying loan, then be it short-term or long-term, it will always be financing activity, because loan is straight away a route through which you are financing your business. So your electricity outstanding is operating activity, interest outstanding is operating. Interest is a little bit tricky one. I'll come back to that again. Expenses outstanding, tax liability, accounts payable, wages payable, all are operating activity. So in short-term liabilities, there is one exception to CFO. That exception is short-term loan. That means if there is a short-term loan, that continues to be cash flow from financing activity and it doesn't become cash flow from operating activity. ठीक है, ये समझ में आ गया? Okay. Similarly, there is an exception in the asset side as well. If you have short-term investment, then short-term investments, be it long-term or short-term, you will continue to treat them as investing activity. Makes sense? Because you are straight away saying that this is investment for the business. So that if it is short-term or long-term, you will continue to treat them as cash flow from investing activity. So let me tell you a simple example, that let us say there is a business. Okay, before that, let me give you a format. So the format of the cash flow statement is like this. You write cash flow from operating activities, then you write all the reasons of cash flow from operating activities, and you write the total. Let us say for a particular business, total of cash flow from operating activity. So these cash flows can be plus or minus. Total cash flow from operating activity was 2,000 rupees negative. That means the business lost 2,000 rupees because of their operations. Then you will write cash flow from investing activities. Here you will write all those reasons: machinery purchased with negative sign, machinery sold with positive sign, land purchased negative, land sold with positive, new trademark purchased with negative. सारे जोड़ जाड़ के you will find a number. This number is going to be called cash flow from investing activity. That can also have its own sign. Let us say it is 3,000 positive. And then you will have similarly cash flow from financing activity. So you will have your new debt issue here. You will have new equity here. You will have your debt repaid here. You will have equity repurchased here. After considering all these, you will have cash flow from investing activity total, financing activity total. Let us say that comes out to be positive rupees 1,800. So notice here that in cash flow statement, fortunately for all those engineers out there, we are not talking about debits and credit any longer. We are talking about pluses and minuses. Very simple and intuitive. If cash came in, write positive. If cash went out, write negative. Then if you add all these three, what do you think you are going to get? Any idea? If I add this one, and this one.
Cash in hand.
Cash?
Cash in hand.
Cash.
Will I have this much cash at the end of the period? Yes.
Yes, cash in hand.
Sir, net cash inflow or outflow?
This should be the change in cash in this year, right?
So
if
we start with opening balance,
let us say you started with 10,000 rupees to begin with, and you lost 2,000 because of your operations. You gained to 3,000 because of investing activity, and you gained 1,800 because of your financing activity. Then how much money are you going to have at the end of the period? You understood my point? So basically, this total is simply called change in cash during the period. Which in this example is going to be 2,800, positive 2,800. If we go and write add opening balance of cash, opening cash, then you should automatically get the closing balance. So if let us say you started, as I said, that you started the year with 10,000 rupees. So if you add 10,000 to it, then you must have 12,800 in your closing balance. Now this is your closing cash. समझ आया? These three are the reasons where you generated or burned cash. If you add all of these three reasons together, then you have total change in cash during this period. In this total, if you add what you started with, then you should automatically get how much cash you should have left at the end of the period. So if you go and check your balance sheet, whatever this number comes and whatever is the number in the balance sheet should exactly match. So if you have cash, then you should automatically say 12,800 here. That's the only way. It is not possible that here you will have a separate number and here you will have separate number. Okay? Yeah, question. Go ahead. Hemant, go ahead.
Sir, just a conceptual question, like what is the benefit of categorizing
अभी करते हैं, benefit पे करते हैं. So that's what we will see. There must be a reason why we are going through this much of pain. So that we will get back to in a very short period of time. Once we start to think how do you understand or how do you interpret these numbers. Yes, Shweta, go ahead.
So one question here, you are saying that the operational cash, the remaining cash, so it is like कि ये हमारे पास for that quarter or for that year. So what is being considered? Like
whatever be the accounting period, Shweta. So
Okay.
as I told you, somebody else also asked the same question, that we want this information more frequently. Let us say you are preparing your financial statement every quarter. So for every quarter you will prepare income statement. For every quarter you can prepare your balance sheet, and for every quarter you can prepare your cash flow statement. Let us say you are preparing it for 1 year, then it will be prepared for 1 year. Now, if one thing you can notice here, are these stock concepts or are these flow concepts? ये आपने मशीन खरीदी, आपने पेमेंट किया suppliers को, you received payment from the buyers. Are these stock concepts or flow concepts?
So I think so it's a flow concept as just
It is a flow concept because here always we are talking about change in cash, right? Change in
Right.
cash, and change in variable is always a flow concept. So that is why we will prepare cash flow statement for a period of time.
तो हमें
So people
previous से
say-
कुछ मतलब ही नहीं है ना, यानी हमारे पास.
Previous period से only opening cash आएगा, ये वाला.
Okay.
Previous period से the only thing that you would need is that how much cash you started with. Rest all happened in this period. ठीक है? Nothing to do with the last period. It's exactly similar to the way income statement is prepared. Income statement has nothing to do with the previous period. It all has to do with what did you do in this year. ठीक है?
ठीक है
Okay. Neeraj, go ahead.
Sir, when we create our account balance sheet before, so we were mentioning DRs first and CRs later on. So in this positive and negative, is there a way we have to write, or in any which way that is fine, sir?
Okay. So that very simple answer to this question, a little bit generic answer also. So in general, I have not told you how to prepare cash flow statement. Right now, I'm just telling you its contents. Okay. So fortunately for us, you guys are now sophisticated enough to understand or try to interpret a statement just by its content. But how do you prepare it? Go and watch those videos to see them in detail. But to answer your specific question now, is that there is no need to order them, that first you write all the positives, then negatives, or vice versa. You can keep writing them as you wish. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Actually, there is a very unfortunate twist coming to this plot that I will tell you a little bit later, maybe after I take Pulkit's question. Yeah, Pulkit, go ahead.
Sir, actually my question was on making this only, like इसमें हम जो सारी entries लेते हैं, it comes from the trial balance or does it come from the journal entries? Like कितना specific जाते हैं in cash flow? I know it's not
Okay.
but
So all these questions of how to prepare it, it will be like, मतलब वो अभी जवाब दे दूंगा ना, it will just open up 5 more questions, which once again I'll have to answer all 5 each, which will further increase 5 more questions. So it will end up as if I have to tell you the entire process here. I'm not doing it. I will just give you one example, okay, of how do you prepare cash flow statement. Okay, let us say you have all the transactions information. You can prepare it either. There are two ways of preparing it. One is called a direct method and one is called an indirect method. Okay, I will tell you the direct method. I will mention the indirect method, but it is definitely going to confuse you. This is what twist I was mentioning just a little while ago. Direct method is very intuitive. Let us say you have all the transactions. Let us say in this particular period, you took transaction number 1, 2, 3 up to 1000. Total 1000 transactions took place. Let us say first transaction is that owner infused money into the business. So for every transaction, you need to ask that did it involve any cash? First question is this. If yes, only then it will take any place in cash flow statement. If the answer is no, then there is no point. You don't need to involve them in the cash flow statement. I think that is very clear enough. For example, let us say you purchase a machinery on credit. You purchase a machinery on credit. Where will it go in the cash flow statement? It doesn't need to go anywhere because you have not paid cash. You got machinery, you got an outstanding for machinery. You didn't pay cash. But let us say you purchase machinery on 80% credit and 20% down payment. Now 20% will come under cash flow statement. And where will this go? This 20% amount, let us say it comes out to be 7,50,000 rupees. ये कहाँ जाएगा 7,50,000 of outflow?
CFI.
CFI में जाएगा. Cash flow from investing activity में जाएगा because you have purchased a machinery. Okay. So first question you ask yourself, you look at every transaction. First question you ask yourself is, did it involve cash? If the answer is no, then no need to bother about that transaction. Move to the next one. If the answer is yes, then try to think of, is it impacting any long-term assets? If the answer is yes, bring that cash to CFI. If the answer is no, then ask yourself, is it impacting any long-term liability? If the answer is yes, bring it to CFF. If the answer is still no, that it neither affected any long-term asset or long-term liability, then ask yourself, is it impacting any of those exceptions? Those exceptions were, so far we have only given you two of them. One is called short-term loan and one is short-term investment. If it is short-term loan or short-term investment, bring them to CFI or CFF. CFI or CFF. If still the answer is no, then bring it to CFO.
सर ओवरड्राफ्ट भी शॉर्ट टर्म लोन हो गया ना?
ओवरड्राफ्ट पे करते हैं. So we will discuss about dividend, interest, overdraft now. ठीक है, ओवरड्राफ्ट पे करते हैं अभी. ठीक है, यहां तक समझ में आ गया? Okay. Now there is. हाँ बताइए अभिषेक.
Please repeat this once. I lost it. Sorry.
So basically what we are saying is that there are two methods to prepare cash flow statement. One is called a direct method. One is called an indirect method. So far I have just explained to you how do you prepare cash flow statement using a direct method, because it is straightforward, very intuitive, that you look at all the happenings of the business in this year or this accounting period. It need not always be year. Then you ask yourself a question. You look at first transaction, you ask yourself a question that did it involve any cash? If the answer is yes, then you ask yourself that did it involve any long-term asset? If answer is yes, then you call that cash as CFI. तो यहाँ पे इस टोटल में यहाँ पे लिख देना, यहाँ पे कहीं लिख देना. Sorry, CFI में. CFI में जाएगा वो amount. Let us say machine purchased for 7,50,000. So here you will write machine purchased. Here you will write machine purchased, and you will write negative 7,50,000. ठीक है? Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Similarly, if you think that no, it was not long-term asset, but it is some long-term liability, then you will do the same thing. You will bring it only to this heading. Under this heading, it will come. Maybe you would have paid certain loan. So you will say loan repaid, negative rupees 5,80,000. जितना भाई लोन रिपेमेंट किया है, आपने जो पैसे दिए हैं वो लिखना इधर. ठीक है?
ठीक है सर.
Now, if the answer is still no, that no, it was a cash item, but it is neither a long-term asset or long-term liability, nor a short-term loan, nor a short-term investment, then you will classify them as cash flow from operating activity. So what will be some of the examples? Let us say you have paid for inventory. Paid for inventory. Paid for inventory, you will bring it in cash flow from operating activity. You will say less paid for इन्वेंट्री माइनस जितना भी पैसा आपने दिया, लेटर से आपने 90,000 में पेमेंट करी है. ओके
Okay.
Now there is a twist. The twist is that for CFO, for this part, there is an alternative method. For CFI and CFF, it will continue to be calculated exactly the same way as I have told you. But CFO, cash flow from operating activity, इसको एकदम ध्यान से सुनिए what I am saying. There is an alternative way of preparing this. That alternative way is called an indirect method. Okay. Now in indirect method, what you do? This one I will just tell it to you argumentatively. If you want to know details, you will have to go through the videos, because to explain this one in detail, it takes at least 3-4 hours, if not anything more. So I'll just try to argumentatively tell you. So in an indirect method, what you say is that you say that I will start with my net profit. I will say that if my entire operating activities were in cash, let us say आपने कैश में इन्वेंट्री खरीदी, कैश में सब कुछ बेचा, सब कुछ कैश में था, then your net profit itself becomes CFO. Can you imagine this? Let us imagine a business जिसने की you have purchased inventory worth ₹60,000 in cash, and you have sold it all for 1,20,000, or let us say 1,80,000. 1,80,000 में इसको बेच दिया आपने, that too in cash. Then you had, so this one was inventory purchase, this one was sale, and let us take one more. Let us say apart from this, you paid employee salary of 50,000 rupees. 50,000 once again in cash. Salary pay kar diya. Let us say these are the only three things that happened. How will your income statement look like? Your income statement will look something like this. You will have sales 180 minus COGS. So that will be your 60,000, and minus salary expense, that will be 50,000. And then you will have profit of how much? You will have a profit of 70,000. Okay? Your income statement will look something like this. Now, if you look at it carefully, your cash flow from operating activities is also like this. Exactly the same, 70,000. For example, what were the three transactions? First transaction was that you spent 60,000 cash for inventory. Now, is this an operating activity? Yes. So you would have under direct method, you would have said purchase of inventory minus 60,000. How about sale? Sale is also an operating activity. So you would have said sales positive 180. How about employee salary? That is also an operating activity. So you would have said payment of salary minus 50,000. And then you would have said this is our cash flow from operating activity, CFO, which is how much? Positive 70. Now you compare, this is how your income statement is looking, this is how your cash flow statement is looking. Any similarity between the two? It's exactly the same.
Same.
So for most part, as long as things only happened in cash, income statement and cash flow from operating activity in under a direct method looks like a mirror image. So the accountants have said that there is no point in giving me the same information all over again. So what I will do instead is that I will start with this number itself. I will say that this number itself is my cash flow from operating activity. and then I will adjust all those reasons why this can change. What are the reasons why this can change? Let us imagine there is an expense called depreciation. So depreciation यहाँ पे तो कम करेंगे. Let us say depreciation expense was 20,000. So profit would become 50,000, right? So now your net profit is 50,000. But what is your cash? Did you pay cash to anybody because of depreciation? No. So now you will say adjust back depreciation. So add back depreciation. Why did you add back depreciation? क्यों? क्योंकि ये expense तो था income statement में, that is it has affected this 50,000 का number, but you didn't have to pay cash because of this. So you will revert it back. How do you revert it back? अगर आपने तब expense subtract किया था तो अब add back कर दो. So basically you will say that I had to pay only 70,000 for cash flow from operating activity. Why did you have to pay only 70,000? Because 50,000 is your net profit, which is after considering a non-cash kharcha of 20,000. So how much was total cash? Cash was 70 positive. ठीक है, इतना समझ आया? Now beyond this, I will not go because that will run into plethora of more complications. So what we do in under indirect method is that we start with net profit and we keep on adding or subtracting all those reasons why net profit itself is not CFO. And then we try to convert our net profit to CFO. This process is called indirect method. Unfortunately for you, in real life, only indirect method is followed. That is, wherever you look at the financial statement, if you look at the details of cash flow from operating activity, it will look very bizarre that you would have added depreciation, you would have added some other expenses. Why would you add expense? What does it mean? You're not adding expenses. Basically, you are adding those expenses which has affected net profit, but it didn't result any reduction in cash. That is why you are reversing it effect. Yeah, Raghu, go ahead.
Sir, after adjustment, the closing cash will not be same as the cash that is in their balance sheet, sir, because that does not contain depreciation, the cash in the balance sheet.
That is why you adjusted it back. Net profit was affected because of this. See this 50,000 wala, if this depreciation expense was not there, my net profit would have been 70, right? But now the after depreciation net profit is only 50. But if I check my bank balance, if I started with, let us say 1 lakh rupees, will I have 1,50,000 of because of 50,000 profit, or will I have 1,70,000 cash?
No, this I got it, but I'm talking about the balance sheet. The cash mentioned in the balance sheet will...
See, Raghu, you should understand is that the balance sheet cash and what you are seeing here, it's all one and the same thing. That is the cash you have. So no matter which route you come from, if you are telling to people that this much cash I have at the end of the period, all the balances should be same. Okay?
Sir, problem है इसमें let's say ये income statement है, right? So income statement में let's say salary expenses हैं. आपने यहाँ salary लिया है, but income statement में ये तो नहीं पता है कि ये salary expenses cash में किए गए थे या वो expenses हैं, right? Those
अरे अभिषेक भाई, अभी तो बता रहा हूँ मैं कि if you have everything in cash, then I didn't even have to do anything. My 70,000 profit itself was cash flow from operating activity. But now what you will do in real life, you may have something in cash, some expense may be non-cash, some expense may be partly cash, partly non-cash. So for all those reasons, keep adjusting. Either add, subtract करते जाओ. ठीक है?
Okay.
To know more about this, watch the videos. Unfortunately, we have to move to the interpretation part because anyway in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I cannot take up conceptually speaking how indirect method works. But I have just given you a flavor that when you look at a cash flow, मान लो कि आप अगर आपने टाटा मोटर्स का annual report उठाया, if you look at its cash flow statement, if you look at CFO, it will look something like this: CFO, CFRE, CFF. Then they will have certain numbers, then the total of those numbers, total of those numbers. And then these three will contain a grand total. This grand total will be called change in cash. This is the format of a cash flow statement. This grand total will be called change in cash. And here you will be seeing that they will add opening cash and then they should arrive at the closing cash. Now this closing cash here must necessarily match the closing cash balance in your balance sheet. Now what I'm trying to mention here is that if you look at the details of these numbers, if you look at the details of CFF, you know what, give me a moment. Imagine कितना करा है, डाउनलोड करके दिखाई देते हैं. Okay. Do I have Tata Motors balance sheet, cash flow statement? I think it will be much easier if I just search it right away. So Tata Motors, कहाँ गया? Tata Motors cash flow. PDF. बहुत सही. Look at the details of cash flow from investing activity. You see, payments for property, plant and equipment, then payment for other intangible, proceeds from sales. Sounds intuitive कि क्या हुआ होगा business में? These component parts. Look at the cash flow from financing activity. Let us see. Proceeds from issue of shares and warrants, proceeds from borrowing long term, repayment of long term borrowing. ये देखिए repayment वाले negative numbers हैं. ये देखिए ये number. Similarly, proceeds positive number हैं. Intuitive again, very intuitive. Then what are they doing? Then net non-cash transaction, कुछ तो वैसे कर दिया non-cash. Then they are saying net cash, net change in cash and cash equivalent. So this is total of all these A, B and C, cash flow from operating, investing and financing. Then they have added, कैसे बड़ा करूँ यार? How do I do full screen? Anyway, then what they have done is that they have added cash equivalent as of the opening balance. ये देखिए, as of 1st April opening balance. Then they are saying कुछ फ्लक्चुएशन ऑफ करेंसी वैल्यू को हटाने के बाद दैट शुड रिजल्ट इन कैश फ्लो क्लोजिंग बैलेंस. ठीक है, समझ आया? Now everything was intuitive so far. Now let me bring the plot in the twist in the plot. Let me show you the component part for the cash flow from operating activity. ये जो पहले वाला कॉलम है ये सारा cash flow from operating activities है. Look at what they are doing. They are starting with profit for the period that there was a loss of this much. And then they are saying adjustments for. Now, what are these adjustments? These adjustments are all those reasons for because of which net profit itself is not your CFO. Otherwise, net profit itself would have been CFO. So one reason is that there was a depreciation expense in the income statement. One reason is that there was a transfer to trade and other receivable allowance. Then there was inventory write down. So all those expenses which were non-cash. Then similarly, there can be some payment of other things that kahan gaya? Increase and decrease on short-term assets or something. There would be something here. Let me, yeah, here. Look at these trade receivables. आपने trade receivable को इतना pay कर दिया है और इतना receive किया है. Sorry. That means what? Whatever your sales was, apart from that, this much extra money you received because of your receivables as well. Similarly, inventories, this much money. That means you have generated certain. Now this statement is going to be very problematic. But bottom line of this, so I will not make it. So bottom line of all of this is that when you look at the component part of CFO, then it will not be straight away intuitive. Why it will not be? Because it has been prepared under an indirect method. Now what is an indirect method? उसका डिटेल पढ़िए तभी ये समझ में आएगा. ये वाला सेक्शन जो है आपको वरना नहीं समझ में आएगा. ठीक है? But what you will still be able to understand is this total. The total is completely same. अगर आप डायरेक्ट मेथड से प्रिपेयर करो चाहे इनडायरेक्ट मेथड से प्रिपेयर करो, दिस टोटल हैज एग्जैक्टली सेम इंट्यूशन. What is that intuition? That because of the operations of the year 2020, Tata Motors could generate 439 crore rupees. In your brain, if you just want to picture something, then after doing the sales and receiving the money and then paying for the inventory and paying for salary, Tata Motor को 439 crore rupees बच गए because of the operations. That's what this number means. Similarly, cash flow from investing activity is showing a total of this much. कहाँ गया? This much. What does this mean? It is a negative number. By the way, I hope I would have already told you guys, but if not, let me tell it to you that in finance, if a number is written in bracket, it simply means negative. Okay, so here this one is net cash used in investing activity in bracket 4718.86. That means that Tata Motors have purchased certain assets and sold certain assets, but in net they have invested 4718.86 crore rupees in long-term assets. अब कौन-कौन से long-term asset उनका डिटेल जानना है तो इधर देख लीजिए. And lastly, financing activity, Tata Motors have generated this much from financing activity. So maybe they have taken more loan or raised more equity than they have repaid. That is why there is a positive number. So what are the reasons? If you want to know the reasons, look at these details just preceding. Now this would give you a very easy idea of how to interpret these numbers. That is what we are going to do. But before that, one round of questions. Yeah, go ahead, Pulkit.
Sir, when we talk about the EBITDA positive, we are talking about the CFO part of the cash flow only.
Only CFO. There is no word like EBITDA so far. EBITDA कल आएगा. आज नहीं सुना आपने. Just imagine that nobody heard Pulkit's question. But answer to your question, Pulkit, is no. It is just CFO. Okay. Fine, comfortable up till here. अब देखते हैं कि इसको interpret कैसे करेंगे. Yeah, Deepak, go ahead.
So just a one-liner for all three heads. Like, if we have a positive balance for CFO, it means we have done more expenses, or we have generated more cash out of that, right? Not expenses, but we have generated more cash, right?
If you have CFO as positive number, that means you have generated cash because of your day-to-day activities. If you have this number itself as a negative, that means that operation itself is losing money. आप जो main काम कर रहे हो उसी में आपको पैसे खर्च हो रहे हैं. It's almost like ITC's hotel business. That just to maintain the hotel, you have to spend, let us say, 60 crore rupees. But because of Corona, the revenues were only 35 crore rupees. So what do you think is going to be the CFO activity from the hotel wing? It is going to be a negative number. You lost 60, you got only 35. So in net, you lost some 25 crore rupees.
Yeah. So similarly for CFI, if we have a positive balance,
for CFI, so that is what we are going to do, is that we are going to interpret these numbers. So CFO's positive and negative interpretation is clear to everybody. For CFI, the interpretation is that positive number means what? You have you have sold machinery. Negative number means what? You have invested in machinery or plant or any long-term asset. CFF, positive number means what? You have raised more loan, or you have raised more equity, or yeah, these are the two. A negative number means what? Either you have done debt repayment, or you have done equity repurchase, or you have done interest payment, or you have done dividend payment. Okay. Now one small bit just before we go ahead and interpret these is those two or three confusing items. I will get back to this in just a moment, but there are certain items where there is an open debate. For example, interest payment. Interest payment, should it be CFI, CFF, CFO? What should it be? CFI, CFF, CFO?
CFO.
CFO.
CFO, CFO. Everybody agrees CFO? Any?
Sir, CFF because it's a part of the loan.
Yes, sir.
It's
CFF.
part of the loan, so CFF. आगे दूसरी पार्टी भी आ गई इधर. Okay. Anybody who says it is CFI? Chaliye, good. I will not give you more time because these are the only two contenders. Basically, there is a very heavy debate about whether interest payment should be CFO or CFF. Unfortunately, both of these parties who have said CFF or CFO have a very valid reason to say what they are saying. For a lot of businesses, interest payment is like any other expenses. If you pay employee salary, you treat it as CFO. Similarly, if you pay obligation for the raising of the loan, that should also be CFO. But there is a contention to this also. Some people will say that if loan is taken, you are treating it as CFF. So its servicing should also be CFF. Interest is what? Servicing to the loan, right? So loan लेते हैं जब आप तब तो उसको CFF में डाला, तो जब उसकी आप सर्विसिंग कर रहे हैं then also that should also be CFF. Unfortunately for us, both the arguments are exactly valid. There is no flaw in either of these arguments. So it is, conceptually speaking, it is, notice what I am going to say very carefully now. Conceptually speaking, it is all right for you to treat interest payment either in CFF or CFO. Both of these are correct. अगर किसी ने CFF में दिखा दिया, then also it is correct. If अगर किसी ने CFO में दिखा दिया, then also it is correct. You may see certain rules and regulations just for consistency purposes. Some accounting standards will say that I understand that both of these treatment would be okay, but for us, do only this one. So this is because of the rules and regulations and not conceptually speaking. So for example, Indian accounting standard says that show interest payment as a financing activity. It does not mean that if somebody ends up showing it as an operating activity, conceptually they are incorrect, but they are just trying to avoid confusion. So that everybody who prepares financial statement in India keeps on showing them in the same manner so that numbers are comparable. ठीक है, समझ आया? What does it mean for you? It means for you that if let us say tomorrow you open up financial statement of some other country's company और उसने दिखा रखा है ऑपरेटिंग, तो आप हंसने मत लग जाना कि अरे ये क्या घटिया, इनको कुछ नहीं आता. नो, बोथ ऑफ दीज आर कंसेप्चुअली करेक्ट. या तो उन पे हंसोगे या खुद पे हंसोगे या मुझ पे हंसोगे. मुझ पे तो बिल्कुल मत हंसना कि क्या मास्टर ने गलत पढ़ा के भेजा हमको. Conceptually both of these are correct, but certain places the regulatory bodies may stop one of the treatment and allow only one the treatment only for consistency purposes. So you have to be open for this. Exactly same thing is true about interest received also. So why do you receive interest? Because you may have invested somewhere else, so that investment would have been in your investing activity. So interest received can all, by exactly same logic, can either be a part of CFO or CFI. And once again, certain lawmaking bodies may restrict its entry only into CFI or only into CFO. In India, it has been, the accounting standard says that show them only as a part of CFI. But if you open up some other country's financial statement and you see them appearing under CFO, don't be surprised. And exactly similar debate is true for dividend received as well as dividend paid. Where dividend paid has a content, dividend paid is typically only CFF, means there is, actually no, there is still contention. So dividend paid has two contenders, either it can be CFF or CFO. Similarly, dividend received also has two contenders, either it can be CFI or CFO. Can dividend received be CFF? Anyone?
Yes, it can.
No,
No,
CFF से उसका कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. Because why would you receive dividend? Only because you would have invested somewhere. So for all of these four items, the only debate is across the two items. These two items can be for dividend received and interest received, can be across CFI and CFO. and for interest paid and dividend paid across CFF and CFO. ठीक है? Okay. Last bit about bank overdraft. Now bank overdraft once again.
Accounting standard क्या है? इसमें कोई रूल नहीं है डिविडेंड में?
भाई अभी तो बताया, बीच बीच में सोया मत करो. Accounting standard for India says for अच्छा for dividend.
हाँ, dividend.
Okay, my bad. For dividend I didn't tell. For dividend also in India the same accounting standard rules are there, that for received show them in investment activities, for paid show them in financing activity. Okay, but be flexible for these items the moment you deal with countries which are across the globe. Okay, now last bit, that for bank overdraft also there is a debate. That debate is that should I treat the bank overdraft as if I have taken a loan, or should I just treat it as a negative cash? Conceptually speaking, both of these are correct. Once again, it depends upon what country you are in. For the purposes of this class, we will assume Indian accounting standard for bank overdraft. I don't even know what is the Indian accounting standard. Highly likely the way they do things, they would have treated it in CFF. So I will assume it like this. So for purposes of this class, by that I mean exam purposes, treat interest payment, dividend payment, and bank overdraft as CFF. And interest received, and dividend received as investing activities. Okay? Only for consistency or comparability purposes. But conceptually speaking, it could be CFO also, all of these. Okay. Now we'll go back to analyzing all these numbers. That what information or what insight do we get, which we would have not obtained if we looked at only income statement or balance sheet. You guys have a class after this also?
Yes sir, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock sir. थोड़ा सा टाइम ले लो क्या? कितना टाइम है? नहीं, थोड़े से टाइम में होगा नहीं, चलो कल ही करते हैं. Okay, we'll do the interpretation part tomorrow. ठीक है? Okay. Tomorrow, do you have any class after mine? When is my class?
2 to 5:30.
2 to 5 ना, और 5 के बाद कोई क्लास नहीं है?
Yes sir. 6 to 7:30 है.
Yes sir. है.
6 to 7:30
तक है. 6 to 7:30.
सर इतनी जल्दी नहीं छूटते हम लोग.
अरे
हम सर फंसे रहते हैं.
ऐसे देके फंसे हो भाई.
उसके बाद भी सर सुनना पड़ता है.
देने से पहले नहीं पता था इतना फंसेंगे सर.
थोड़ा तो होमवर्क करना चाहिए था. ओके,
हमें सर वीकेंड पता था.
आई एम इन डायलेमा कि अभी एक्सटेंड करूं क्या 15 मिनट में? नहीं हो पाएगा 15 मिनट में. चलो ठीक है, कल करें. विल सी. आई विल ट्राई टू रश टुमारोज कंटेंट अ लिटिल बिट. चलो, सी यू ऑल टुमारो. बाय.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
I'll stop recording. Yeah.